Here we are, Tuesday morning. Is it? No.
Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday morning. Tuesday morning. The official cruise just started yesterday evening. We had a tour at Charles Darwin National Preservation Reserve
Research
Center. Research Center. Thank you.
The coffee is good, by the way.
Excellent
South
coffee.
American.
And so we're sitting here at the Maynao Hotel, where we stayed for a couple of nights, and we've been here for a few days. How have things been?
You see this piece of bread? As it goes down, you will see it again later on this evening or afternoon as it comes overboard. But it has been wonderful.
Farhad's been generous with feeding the fish.
That's right. It's not in my capacity not to share. So nothing like a little bit of rumination, if you know what I mean. But it's been a wonderful time. Lovely spending 3 days already with the three.
I'm going to need more detail and come back on that.
Wait, I'm not done yet.
Okay.
I have just taken the 2 most challenging dives of my career, and I'm happy to say have survived. Looking forward to today, which will be somewhat less challenging, I hope. It looks beautiful outside. It's gorgeous.
Great.
I'm very pleased.
All right. Excellent.
I've had the 4 most challenging times in my career, far beyond my capability, and I survived. So I'm filled with gratitude for God that I'm still here.
Excellent.
Here.
Farhad, were those on the more challenging end of the spectrum for you as well?
Well, I've done worse. In fact, I think I did. No, but yes, they were definitely very challenging. It was nice to have a hand to hold underwater, though.
I'm glad I could be there for you.
No, it
was the guy.
thanks to Susie and Macaron.
Oh.
Get some more jump.
I don't think I made
So for a little bit more of the detail, we first started our first checkout dive out towards Santa Fe, which is a little island off of Santa Cruz, about a 45-minute to an hour steam. We went with Luis and his boat crew. Leslie came along. We did one dive there, which had a very nice swim through. There was a sea lion at that spot.
The sea lion and I are now soulmates.
That's right. Brad and the sea lion had some special moments where they were eye to eye, very close together, communicating in tranquility. We did the swim through twice. There were, I'm trying to remember what other fish were there that we saw.
Stunning.
There were lots of different fish. I think we were all getting acclimated that first dive. But the sea lion was a high point. And then we picked up anchor and came back to a place called Camano,
Santa Camano.
which was off of Santa Fe, right?
Between Santa Fe and Santa Cruz.
No. It was just a little island back this side.
A little island
this
off
island.
between Santa Fe and Santa Cruz. Oh, it was
Yeah, I think it's this island.
And there we swam with 500,555 salamas.
Striped salamas or something?
Striped
You want more?
salamas. That was Luis's estimate, plus or minus. But it was really like 250,000 to 500,000 bait fish, which I don't think any of us had ever swum in
No, it was stunning.
a school like that, which was spectacular. And that was fine as well.
There was a very macho sea lion.
A mucho macho sea lion, a very large male sea lion, which Leslie had said tend to be fairly aggressive, but this one was very mellow. I think, again, speaking to Brad's.
I don't think it was too mellow because every time it went by me it growled.
Did it?
Yes.
Just trying to get us away from his territory?
And that takes us up to the dives yesterday morning.
One can only begin to describe the dives yesterday as we exited the harbor and started surfing.
We had a different dive master.
Every once in a while the boat would launch itself off of one crest to land on the other with a bang that would just do my chiropractor heart good. So we got out to the first dive and didn't, it was rough, but Farhad was still okay.
Up to that point.
Up to that point. we had to do this back roll. I think 6 simultaneous divers on a back roll. Of course, there was only enough place for 5.5 divers, so I did a reverse somersault twist, removing the mask from my face and also making the tank slide off my back. So that was the start of the dive.
9.2.
Descended fine to about 50 feet, only to find that one of my hoses wasn't connected.
Well, first we did have to adjust the tank underwater at about 40 feet.
Yes, there was
the dive master had to put
my gear back together.
Put the tank on his back.
I had already put my mask back on by that time. But then I noticed that one of my hoses had not been correctly connected on the surface. This is, of course, my buddy's fault, Peter, and
sure.
I had to deal with this. So I tried to connect the hoses underwater. Huge amounts of air. It looked like an underwater volcano coming up. It didn't work. I didn't connect it. I went over and talked to Leslie. Leslie tried it. She couldn't get it connected. She panics. Went over and talked to.
She told you to cut the dive. She said you should just go back up.
Did she say that really?
Yeah. At some point she said this or something.
Oh, I never even saw that. I just
you ignored it.
It took me just a little while to figure out. I didn't need this hose connected anywhere. I was breathing air just fine.
Even though I had told you that a few days before, quite directly.
But I had ignored you as usual.
It's not about you, it's about him.
That's right. It's not about you.
Sure.
You should have been over there helping me.
I was.
You were not. You were watching.
I was ready to give you my octopus.
All right, boys. All right, boys.
I was ready to cut the dive in half and let you breathe up.
Brother and brother fight, okay?
So anyway, it turns out you can just use an oral inflator and you don't need to use that hose at all. So the dive was fine, except I'd blown off about 600 psi of air.
Where is the
So I continued on.
700, I think.
Continued on.
You had 2,200, I had 2,900 when we launched.
Yeah, continued on. And the remarkable feature of this dive once we started was the surge.
Well, first against the current.
Well, first we had to swim against the current because you always want to go against the current. I don't know why. The boat didn't seem to be anchored anyway. Who knows? We had to swim against the current.
Was this the second time?
First time.
First time it was anchored.
It was anchored.
Oh, so we had to go against the current, and then we were going to return to where the anchored boat was. So it was tough.
Some wall. It was a wall.
It was a wall, but
we swam against.
the current, the current was hard, but the surge was incredible. We were along a ledge, and we were out here going back and forth about 10 feet. And so if you were 8 feet away from the wall, the last 2 you were thrown onto the rocks, which is what Leslie happened. Hurt her back. We all got 11 feet away from the wall, so we were fine. I think, was that the dive you guys saw, the marbled ray?
Yes.
Yes.
Is that the dive when he stole my flashlight?
Yeah.
Okay, so I lent my flashlight to the dive master,
Never got it back.
which he completely procured for the rest of the dive. I never saw it again. But he saw a marbled ray that I missed because I was blind at that point. So we come up and over the top of the wall. I didn't have enough air, and so we're going to go back along the top of the wall once again, going back and forth, back and forth. It's kind of cool, actually. It's like Cedar Point. And then I went out, and this huge upswell came up and took me up like I was attached to a parachute in the wind. I felt like a kite going up. Panic! I turned, head down, I kicked like utter hell, only to find the current reverse and almost be pile-driven into the rocks. It was incredible. My buddy, I'm sure Peter, was just astounded at this capability. Actually, I don't remember much of the dive after that. But I survived. I'll let someone else handle the second dive, which was equally adventurous.
I did see I did see that movement and Brad's kicking downward dramatically to come back down.
The reversal was easily a 2.0 in difficulty.
Yep, very impressive.
Yeah, it was good.
Well, the second dive began with this approach.
What about the first? Anything to add to the first dive?
Only I always use my air up quickly, so it's always a short dive for me. So I miss a lot of the stuff. I had to get up early.
Okay.
Nick's a good
But the marbled ray, you saw the marbled ray?
With my light.
I saw light shining in, but I don't recall seeing it precisely. I saw a lot of the sea bass in there right now, with the big lips.
All right, so dive number, and Farhad, you were okay that dive?
Between throw up 1 and throw up 2, I had dive number 2. Dive number 1 was very much like Brad described. Eventful,
A lot of surge.
colorful. Quite a few mishaps that got corrected underwater.
Visibility?
Visibility was actually not bad.
Yeah.
It was reasonably good, and it was really fun to be in that terrain because it felt like rock climbing to some degree. And we had some caves that we looked into, which is where we saw the ray. What do you call it? The marble ray.
Marble ray.
Yeah, and lots of beautiful fish. Some big. I'm trying to think. No, it was a trumpet fish I saw, and the second one. So the second one started low visibility.
And what was this? What was this dive site? The second one.
Second one was called Macaron's Surprise or Secret. It definitely was a surprise. And as for the secret, we're happy that.
I think it's plankton expedition. We saw lots of plankton. It was amazing.
Were they
Nothing
big?
but plankton. Millions, billions, trillions, zillions, and nothing else.
Nutrient-rich environment.
Rich water. Visibility of about 3 feet.
Bottom line, it was the second dive was probably one of the toughest dives I think any of us have really ever taken. Low visibility, heavy surges against the rock. I started to get very chilly because I had a thinner suit than people had initially realized. So we actually came up in about a half hour, 30 to 35 minutes. And poor Jurgen had to follow me out.
I was glad to get up. I appreciate your rescue. That was very thoughtful of you to get cold.
But what we did see was a horn shark, or what they call a Galapagos bull shark, which really was very beautiful. In fact, we chased it down a little bit until it sort of disappeared amongst the crevices. Again, great terrain for what we could see, but the visibility was probably about 3 feet, if that. There was one time when we were doing our safety stop that I almost fell asleep at the safety stop because of the mesmerizing plankton just coming straight into your face. And since you're not doing anything for 3 minutes and there's nothing to see, it just really was hypnotizing. Anyway, I came back up and I did the proverbial ceremonial throw up at the top, and then felt better, and well, marginally better till we got back to shore.
Outstanding. And the good news is, yeah, that Leslie said that diving was more difficult than Gordon Rocks, which is supposed to be the most challenging dive site we do.
Right.
And
Oh, I should do
and
look up here.
it definitely had its challenging moments. There wasn't quite as much to see as far as sea life. We're going to cover that today when we dive North Seymour and
Something from M.
yeah, Mascara or
Yeah,
Mascaralosa or something, but we'll chronicle that later.
All right. Adios.